Hey everybody, Kathy Sokolic here with Mueller Residential Group, and we're here with a special guest today. This is Parke with Greengo Plumbing, and today we're going to talk about our main water switch off valve thingies. And the reason we're talking about it is a big deal. If you have a water emergency in your house, you need to be able to turn off your water.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So we can talk about that, but also the other reason we had them out, we can't even find ours. So that's an issue if we have a leak in the
Yeah,
house. Right, Park?
oftentimes they get covered up
Yeah.
by landscaping. Plumbers will come in at the new construction phase and put them in small round 6-inch valve boxes, but oftentimes the landscaping is not completed yet. And so when landscapers come back, unfortunately, they don't really care that they cover it up, and they cover it up. And to the layman, they don't know that it's even there. And so you do have the water meter shutoff valve here that you can get into for the city shut off at the meter, but the city discourages homeowners and for sure plumbing contractors from using that as a shutoff valve. If anything breaks, you'll be responsible for it. And I can tell you, it can easily be thousands of dollars, to change out, and you have to have a key for it. The lids, especially like these lids now that they're starting to replace, they can be difficult to get into, especially for like a homeowner. So you want your property owner shutoff valve to be able to be accessible and easy to turn off in the event of an emergency.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And emergencies that we might experience in the house, like we just had that big
yep.
freeze, and we've been having more and more of those kind of flash freezes where they're frozen for a couple days. Something could pop inside of the house.
Yep. Toilet supply line.
All
There's a
sorts of stuff.
plastic nut that can crack, and just even a small little stream over hours will flood your house.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that can
So
be very expensive.
yep.
And that could fall under weird types of home insurance that people may not carry.
Yep.
So let's talk about what is normally installed
Yep.
during construction and other options. And we might even try to dig ours up, see
Yeah.
where it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, as this one is covered here, I mean, most likely we'll start to, just scrape the top surface and probably uncover it. Like I said, it'll be typically a 6-inch round valve box. That's not necessarily the way we install them. And when we replace them, we get rid of those small round valve boxes. But essentially, the setup is city water meter. There is a water meter nipple that protrudes through the water meter valve box, and your first valve 6-inch valve box will be here. That's going to be the homeowner cutoff valve or property owner shutoff valve. And then after that will be, oftentimes but not always, a pressure reducing valve. Anything over 80 psi per plumbing code needs to be reduced down to 80 or below, and it's just for safety. So
Yeah, and we should have one, but guess what? Yeah, we can't.
covered up, can't see it.
It's not
So,
there.
and most people aren't going to know that. So, again, most likely it'll be uncovered just right there.
There
That's
she
your
is.
first valve box right there. That's going to be the homeowner cutoff valve. And yep, they most likely put in a pressure reducing valve right here. So this is what you have to pull up, and then it's buried.
I knew it.
And this is essentially, I would say, as high as 85% of the time, you open it up and it is buried. Kind of plumbing 101 is a T-handle valve. And, they're not exercised very often. They stay in the open position. So after many years, say you get to this point, again, all the while, there's a good, if you have an emergency and water's leaking, all the while you're freaking out and it's covered up, you dig it out, and then you can't turn it off. I can kind of barely feel it. It is that T-handle style, and they can be very difficult to turn off when it's that small T that's probably about 2.5 inches long, and you're trying to really grab that and turn it, and it's hard.
Righty-tighty, right?
Yep, righty-tighty. Typically, turning something off, a ball valve off, it's going to be in the clockwise motion, quarter of a turn if it's a ball valve, and then counterclockwise to turn it back on. So yes, this one's covered up. I can feel it, but you can't really see it. Same with the pressure reducing valve here. You can see the top of it, but there's just real no good access. I mean, you have to essentially dig it up to do anything with it. And to the material that, as I'd mentioned before, the material in our plumbing industry, unfortunately, has gotten worse and worse over the years. It's kind of a, once you need to work on it or access it, it's you're replacing it, So for us as a company, we try to avoid that. We really look into good products that are really meant to last a lot longer. So, for example,
Yeah, we've got some here.
yep,
Some better materials.
so this is something we like to install. First of all, this won't fit in a 6-inch round valve box. This is 3/4 inch, very typical size, or 1 inch, very typical size on a, standard single family dwelling. Now, this is not a T-handle, so it will not fit in that valve box. So what we do is we get rid of those 2 valve boxes and we put it in one large rectangular box to where both of these valves will fit into it. And on top of that, this is a full body stainless steel plus stainless steel handle, bonnet, nut. This will not corrode over the years.
We like that.
And the brass ball valves that they're putting in, they will have an aluminum handle or just a regular metal handle, like zinc plated. And so the body of the valve will last okay, but the nut or the handle and nut will rust off and be gone. And it's essentially worthless, even though the body is brass and still intact. So that's why we found this valve, and you can feel the weight of it. It's just a really good quality valve. This will not rust. It has a little lock in place. That's not my favorite feature, but this is what we found so far. It just lifts up. And then there's no T-handle. You can really grab this handle to turn it off.
Nice.
And it stays that way. We've been putting these in for at least 5 years now. And we've gone back to customers' homes that we've installed them and they turn right off. It is a good idea to exercise the valve. In terms of like maintenance for a property owner shutoff valve, it's good once or twice a year to turn it off and turn it on. Yeah, because it's going to really seize up. We have really hard water here in Central Texas. And that stainless steel ball in there is rolling against a nylon washer, and it can kind of be seized up if it's been sitting there for 5, 6, 7 years. So
get a little encrusted with the calcium buildup.
Yes, exactly. And it can just be real hard to turn. So if you can once or twice a year turn it off, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, it's a good idea. But this is our installation practice and the material of choice for us, this ball valve that we found.
Nice.
And that's going to be the most important part of it, essentially, is being able to turn off your water in an emergency. People don't think about it. We're going about our busy lives, and you're not thinking about, your property owner shutoff valve.
That's right.
But you want to know that it's there and that it's working well in the event that something happens.
Yep.
So
cool.
The second piece in line, it is important. It's a pressure reducing valve. Like I mentioned before, 80 PSI is plumbing code. You want that or lower. We're usually trying to put it at about 65, talking to our customers, just because that saves a little bit of water, having a lower pressure. And again, this is just a much better valve. This one is by Watts. 25 AUB is the model. It just has like a internal stainless steel strainer and also a thermal bypass. I guess not to get into it too much for this essentially, you can get real technical with this essentially, this piece can create what's called a closed system, water system, and so you have to have room for thermal expansion, but this has a thermal expansion bypass, and you technically don't need the protection that you need in the house in the form of like a thermal expansion tank or a thermal expansion ball valve.
Oh, cool.
That's typically installed at the water heaters.
Water heater, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, neat.
Well, but
nice.
We've just seen these in the field last a lot longer. This is another material where, say, this costs about anywhere from $130 to $150, maybe even more than that now. You can get these that cost about $40, $50. And I would argue that most plumbers are installing them like that because it's kind of maximizing profits. But
100%.
But I don't like to see that, because essentially we've seen them go bad in 2 or 3 years. They should be lasting 10, 15, 20 years,
Yeah.
you know? So,
And installation costs for these, you know, we've had a lot of neighbors be getting crazy quotes for all sorts of stuff
yep.
too. So,
Yeah. Where we fall in line price wise, again, this is the stuff that we're really conscious about, the type of valves that we're installing and the type of installation. The large rectangular
right.
valve box that gives you more access, you can grab that handle. And also, we will dig out a lot of the dirt about 3 or 4 inches below the valves, and we will embed all the valves in pea gravel, because the dirt is what wants to start the corrosion. It wants to grab those metals that are in the material and bring it back to
Yeah.
the earth. So it starts a corrosion process. So we embed ours in pea gravel. And so a typical installation for 3/4 inch residential style rectangular valve box, these two type of valves, along with, we use some stainless steel fittings if we need to, you're looking about anywhere from $1,600 to $1,800.
Yeah.
And that's our price. Our industry has a wide range of costs, you know,
Oh, for
from
sure.
really low to really high and everywhere in between. So
Yeah.
we tell our customers, you know, our prices will give customers sticker shock often, you know.
But it's the longevity and the peace of mind of not flooding your
Absolutely.
home.
Oh, of course, absolutely. You definitely want to do it. I mean,
Yeah.
just in terms of cost, it doesn't hurt to get many quotes.
Yeah.
You just want to trust your contractor and know that
Yeah.
they're shooting you right. And especially you have a contractor like us that's explaining all this type of stuff in detail. We just
Yeah.
feel like it creates a lot of value.
Yeah. I
Essentially.
agree.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks so much for all this information today,
Yeah.
Parke. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Happy to do it.
All right. So now we're inside and we're going to talk a little bit more about water shutoff valves. Depending on the year your home was built and maybe what kind of updates you've done, each of your water sources in the home should have their own water shutoff. So we're in our powder room of our house, and what we have here is a pedestal sink with the water line coming in. And we'll see if you can see that or not. But this one also has its own water shutoff right here. So this little guy, it's smaller, it's harder to turn. You, in an emergency, if something started leaking, you'd want to be able to reach that. So for example, this one in our home is on an exterior wall. And every time it freezes, you know, we have those weird extended freezes for a couple of days under freezing temperatures. And we have to drip this because it might end up freezing. And if it pops one of these pipes, it would be inside the wall. That's going to be a really costly and annoying fix. And, you know, everything with a home can always be repaired. But what I always think about is the annoyance of it. Then somebody's going to be in your home, they're going to be doing these repairs, it's going to be a giant pain. So that's one location that we have one. It's a smaller little knob. It's going to be a little bit harder to turn. Remember, it's not one of those big ones that we can really wrap our hand around. It's just a tiny little thing. And then here on our toilet, toilets leak all the time, y'all. There is a water shutoff in the back with the toilet. So if you ever want to swap out your toilet, do some repairs, anything like that, again, righty tighty, lefty loosey on this guy to do that repair. And we happen to have like a little bidet on this one. If you're ever going to sell your home, take those off because nobody wants to think about you cleaning your bum. Um, and also, if somebody were to knock it or maybe accidentally hit it in a way that could loosen the connection to the water, you could end up with a water leak in your bathroom and not realize it. Guess what? There's some really cool products on the market now that you can set in areas where there's water and they sense when there's a leak and they can send an alert to your phone. So there's all sorts of new technologies. The city of Austin also, we all have smart meters now. If there is a drip of some sort and a leak that can be picked up on that meter, they will send you a text message. It's pretty cool leak detection. But that might take a little longer than a water sensor that's just placed on the floor and sends an alert to your phone. That's always going to be your quickest alert to a leak. And you don't want to be out of town or selling your house and boom, there's a water leak in your property because then you got to take care of it. Ugh. And it'll end up just being bigger the longer it goes. You always want to get those right when you see them. Another place we typically see a lot of water leaks is with the washer hookup, your washing machine. And this, what we normally see is that the connections are corroded. So that's another example of where materials really matter. So if your washing machine is blocking those and you can't see them, just looking at them every now and then and making sure that they're maintained. You can remove the hoses and put the hoses back on. There's no water leaking because what happens is the water goes down into the wall, and over time, that can completely destroy the inside of the wall. You could have growth, bacteria, different types of organic growth back there, just drywall destruction and decaying of your plumbing system if you don't keep an eye on that. And another example of where those little devices, where you put one on the ground, and if you do have a water leak, it'll ping your phone. So this is another great opportunity to use that technology to detect a potential leak before it gets too bad. So, another spot that's really tricky for indoor plumbing is the refrigerator, believe it or not. So, most of us have a water line to our refrigerators for ice and water, right? So, we get that direct to refrigerator ice maker, and we've got water delivery systems. But what that means is it could be leaking back there. I've seen lots of instances where maybe it's rusted and it's just leaking and we can't see it. At our home, we were having problems with our refrigerator and we pulled it out and put it back so many times that the connection with the water line got loose and it started leaking back there. Also, your just ice maker could just leak. Your water spout could just leak and then do damage to your floors or your baseboards or all of that. So again, there's another shutoff valve behind the refrigerator. We're going to see what that looks like here today. All right, let's get back there. So we have to be careful that we don't loosen something, but we do have a water shutoff valve there. Again, righty tighty, lefty loosey. This one's really solid. There's a lot of debris back here, which doesn't really matter too much. But uh, wow, this has got like little tubes going all over it. I am not going to mess with any of it. But this is what you need to look for and be careful with your refrigerator. This is what tends to leak. And as you can see, it could go all the way into the wall, all over the floors. It could also ruin all of the baseboards and flooring. So that's just one more spot you need to look for. Also, you know what else happens sometimes when you get ice? An ice cube could fall on the floor and you could miss it. If you've got your wood floors in your kitchen or a laminate that's not waterproof, that could also get damaged. So, lots of weird little things to look out for with water inside your home regarding the refrigerator.